Warning: the following program may contain content that some individuals may find sensitive or graphic. Viewer discretion is strongly advised as it discusses topics that may not be suitable for all audiences. The opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the host and guests and do not reflect the views or opinions of the Coast to Coast Entertainment Network. This Coast to Coast Entertainment Network program is brought to you by Beside Me Bracelets. Our bracelets are handmade for any occasion. Use the promo code Coast to Coast for 15% off. Visit their website at besideme.com. Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. With 24-hour shopping available, use the code 160920 and show her some love, like she showed us. Reaper Apparel Company, a commitment to live your most authentic way every single day. Visit reaperapparelco.com for more information and a look at all of their apparel offerings. And by Good Day Embroidery, your local source for custom embroidery, screen printing, and more. Log on to gooddayembroidery.com for more information.
Hello and welcome to another edition of C2C Rankem. I'm the host, Big B, followed by my co-host halfway around the world, Prime Moose. What's up, bud?
Holy smokes! When did we have to put a disclaimer in front of our show? What did I say that we've had to put a disclaimer in front of our show?
No, it's not us. It's we just had to cut some ties with certain people. So.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, we're back. Had a week off. Had some personal stuff going on. So
personal stuff called babysitting the bathroom for 2 days.
Yeah. And I celebrated my anniversary Tuesday, Wednesday, so I was out of town. But budgeting reasons, me and Tim will be back tomorrow doing another show. So we like to make up our shows, make sure our fans get a good glimpse of us Rankem. So, but with that being said, Tim, how you been?
I've been good. But unlike our disclaimer, the opinions are my own. No, it's been hot. Wife's on vacation with the stepdaughter, so I'm basically home alone. Hopefully I don't have Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern try to break into my house, because unlike Macaulay Culkin, I can do more damage than he can. I'm excited to be back. Hopefully Morning Tailgate will be back up again shortly here again too, with the preseason starting.
Yep. Preseason, new rules, new faces, old faces and new places. We got the Morning Tailgate definitely coming around hopefully soon, like you said. So with that being said, we are going to get into our topics. We're going to do a little old school, new school, trash talkers. So we're going to start off with the old school for MLB, NBA, and NFL. And then we're going to go into the new school trash talkers that, we think could talk a good game. So with that being said, Tim, so sniping may not happen a lot. This will be kind of interesting to see where we go, but we're going to start with old school MLB people that we feel would be good trash talkers or have a record of trash talking. So let's see, who do I'm going to go one. I think
what should we doing? We doing current or all time?
We're going to do old school first.
I'll go to old school first. Oh gosh, you think one? I think
there's a lot for MLB we could have done.
Yeah, baseball was perfect for old school. Baseball was. I'll give you one. If we get two, it's going to be kind of weird.
Yep, exactly. All right, kick it off. You're number 5.
My number 5, I know was a trash talker. Kind of along the same lines as Tom Berenger's character in Major League. Matter of fact, played the same position as Tom Berenger did. You got to be a good trash talker if WCW wants you in the ring. Briefly, he was in the ring, but matter of fact, he got into a fight with the Chicago Cubs catcher as he was sliding into home, and he was the Chicago White Sox catcher.
Wow.
And I remember listening to some of the stuff he said, and it's like, I can be a trash talker, but this guy made me blush. My number 5 is the former Chicago White Sox catcher AJ Przinsky.
Wow. Wow, I thought I was going to sneak that one by. Yeah, number 5, AJ Przinsky. Yeah, he could talk a good game even when he was in Minnesota here. Matter of fact, the radio station has a few clips of him bad mouthing, their actual radio station and stuff, but and saying "look at me now" and stuff like that. But yeah, AJ Przinsky was definitely a good trash talker. So
he was the first guy I thought of. Literally the first guy.
He was up there. I have a couple other ones that kind of pushed him down the ranks.
Oh, that's kind of why he's sitting at number 5, because I thought I got 4 other guys that could just sit there and talk a good game.
All right, you're number 5.
This guy. I have a pitcher who trash talked not only. Think about it. This guy trash talked every batter he faced, threw a perfect game. I think he threw the perfect game, basically kind of trash talking to Bud Selig, because Bud Selig didn't want him to wear Babe Ruth's hat, and he threw the perfect game in Babe Ruth's hat, and everywhere he went, and the reason why he wore 33 in New York was because he wanted 3, but New York's not going to get rid of Babe Ruth's number, so he wanted double Babe Ruth. So, and I think he thought he was double the weight of Babe Ruth. This ever gets back to him, I'm going to deny it completely, 100%. But my number 4 is the former New York Yankees. I want to say Toronto Blue Jay, and a couple other teams. David Wells.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Him wearing number 3 or Babe Ruth's hat. Yep. Yeah. Because if I remember it, a lot of people had a controversy on that and opinions, because with him wearing the hat, it kind of diminished the value of it or something.
Of the hat, yeah.
So, my number 4, I'm going to go with a guy that I think could trash talk, but in a fun way, and maybe more like in pregame warm-ups and stuff. I don't know if he did too much trash talking during the game, unless maybe he made a good catch or something like that, or joking around with his teammates. But I'm going to go with number 4, the center fielder from the Seattle Mariners, the Reds, briefly with the White Sox, Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, I didn't hear him talk too much, but I bet
I don't think if he did, it would have been like I said, pregame and stuff like that. I don't think he would have done in-game trash talking. So, all right, you're number 3.
My number 3. Wow, I was going backwards there. My number 3 is a guy who is the all-time leading hit leader in Major League Baseball. Everything I've ever heard about him when he was playing with Cincinnati, Montreal, Philadelphia, that he couldn't shut his mouth, and he kept doing it. And then when he's playing, when he's player manager, he's basically doing the same thing. My number 3 is Charlie Hustle himself, Pete Rose.
Yep. You said it. A lot of people, even himself, he said he trash talked and being at first and second and Charlie Hustle and I guarantee and I think I might have heard something or maybe I'm just assuming, but when he ran over what's his face in the All-Star game,
when he
I
ran
would
over
assume
Fossey,
he got up and started trash talking.
he ran over Fossey, and next thing you know, he's up starting trash talking at an All-Star game.
Yeah. So, all right, you're number 2.
My number 2, a guy who pretty much a journeyman when you realize who he is. The guy who always talks about himself in the third person. This guy would probably trash talk a nun if he had a chance. I've heard nothing. His talent on the field is amazing, but this guy's attitude sucks. Maybe you're right. Maybe this show needs a disclaimer. But when somebody says Ricky is the best base runner in Major League Baseball history, nobody can stop Ricky. My number 2 is the former New York Yankee, Oakland A's, wherever, and what other teams he didn't. Not the Milwaukee Brewers, maybe not the Minnesota Twins. My number 2 is the Steel King himself, Ricky Henderson.
I really went under on this one.
So did I.
Yeah, Ricky Henderson. Yeah, as a matter of fact, God, with the new base rules and bases, somebody asked him if he would steal today. He's like, my record would be untouchable because I would steal every base possible and stuff like that. And yeah. So all right, let's see if we get number 1 together here.
Oh boy, this was the second guy I thought of when you brought up this list to us, and I was like, God, this guy couldn't keep his mouth shut, and I went old school. I went so old school that he died on my birthday. Old school.
Ooh, okay.
This guy was trash talking in Georgia when he was born. It's hilarious.
He came out talking trash to the doctor.
He came out talking trash to his doctor. And if you ever get a chance to learn about the life story of this guy, and the funny thing is he's from Cobb County, Georgia. So if that tells you anything about who my number 1 guy is, and it's not what's his name? Godly, who am I thinking of? Jake the Snake Roberts, because he's from Mountain View, Georgia. But my number 1 is probably considered the greatest Tiger of all time. Played by the only guy who I think could have played him and trash talk just as good as he did in one. I'm not even going to remember who that is. Tommy Lee Jones. My number 1 is Ty Cobb.
That is an old school one. So we did not get number 1, but my number 1, honestly, I think when he first came up, people said he was kind of a trash talker that kind of mellowed out. And then, of course, towards the end of his career, I think his interviews and on the field, to me, he should be in the Hall of Fame, but he's not. And that's one Barry Bonds.
I knew it. I knew exactly where you were going. I'm like, yeah, he was kind of a bit of a trash talker, and then his head got big.
Yeah. No. So. All right, well, we got 3. All right, so let's move to the hard court. Another one, old school NBA. There's trash talking all over the place on this list. So, this will be interesting. God, we went 1. We ended up with 3. I'm gonna go 1 again. I don't know. There's so much.
I think our 1 is going to be the exact same.
I don't know.
Ooh, I think 3. I think 3.
You think 3?
Yeah.
Man, okay. Well, let's see. I'm going to go number 5 here. I'm going to go with the guy who, I guess, they called him the glove. He was one of the best defenders And I know people said that he could trash talk a good game, and that's Gary Payton.
We had him in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That was part of the Ray Allen deal. I'm still not happy about that deal.
All right.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. My number 5. When I think of trash talking, I think of what he was back when he was drafted in 84, 85. But he didn't shut up, and then he goes to Phoenix and really doesn't shut up. And to think about what it is, and you can just and for people who didn't watch this guy play the NBA on TBS or TNT. I've been lucky enough to witness this guy. He was walked by me because I was at an NCAA finals, and they were sitting in front of me, and that guy's head is bald and big.
That's terrible.
Huh?
That's terrible.
Yeah, but it's not that guy. It's the other guy. It's the one that picks on Shaquille O'Neal all the time on
terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. But the what is, I can never get it, is what, the ground pound of rebound or whatever his bloody name was.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you, and he's probably happy that I'm going to be finished slaughtering that nickname. But my number 5 is Charles Barkley. The round mound of rebound. That's what it was.
Yeah, the round mound. Yeah, I was just looking it up too. Well, my number 4 is your number 5. It was one of the first names I thought of right away. Yeah, Charles Barkley. Yeah. So, all right, your number 4.
So my number 4, people consider him and I'm in that group, and I'll be honest, I'm in that group. Even though I didn't like the amount of shots he took in his career, he took a whole lot. And I think he's only had one double-double with assists in his career. That's fine. I don't care. Taken far too soon. The world felt it. Los Angeles felt it, but Italy felt it too because his dad played here. But I have heard some of the nastiest things I've ever heard on a basketball court because of my number 4, my number 1, and my number 3. And my number 1, I told my number 4, you can't fill my shoes, even if I put you in my shoes. And it's amazing. But when I think of my number 4, he's a guy who couldn't shut up either. My number 4 is Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, I think some of his comments, were kind of up there, but I think towards the end of his career, I think he kind of understood the shut up part of things. I mean, he just let his game do his talking for him. So, my number 3, you draft a kid out of high school who's up there, already got a big ego and treated like God, but he definitely
was this the first NBA draft we ever saw together?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm almost positive. But yeah, this one, he backed it up. I think, I don't think he was trash talking to be like a typical trash talk. I just think he was trash talking just to kind of hype up the game and stuff, and his opponents and stuff like that, and his teammates. And that's number 21 for the Timberwolves and the Celtics. And someday his number will be retired in the Target Center, and that's Kevin Garnett.
Well, it's a phrase that pays. If you're not sniping, it's not C2C unless you're sniping.
Oh,
my number 3 was Kevin Garnett.
I got one.
Number 3 is your number 3. I thought of Kevin Garnett right away too, because I remember some. Yeah. I'm hearing stories, and there's some stories that he tells, and him and Gilbert Arenas tell, that are just absolutely jaw dropping.
Yep. Well, we're going to number 2. We're going to go with the phrase that pays. Your number 2 is my number 4. And I thought more of his early career to his mid career, because at the end, I think he turned more of I don't need a trash talk. I've done everything. I just want to go out and play. So, yeah, Kobe Bryant. All right, you're number one.
My number two.
Or you're number two, yeah.
My number two. All I have to do is say is the to me, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, and I don't care. To me, I'm a Ray Allen fan, so this makes it even worse. To me, the purest three-point shooter in NBA history, the kid from French Lick. If you ever listen to what he has said to some people, it is appalling. It almost sometimes it seems like it's borderline racist, but it's not. But my number three is number 33 from the Boston Celtics, Larry Bird.
Wow, I mean, I know I've heard stuff that he said engaged him and Jordan, him and Magic, and
him and Isaiah, him and
I don't know. I guess it just kind of crossed. So my number one, I know you guaranteed, and I kind of figure I think I know who your number one is, so I don't think we got it right. But to me, I think this guy, just in the middle of the court or the middle of the lane, I guess, every time I think he scored and dunked and, all that, and even, teasing Barkley on the TBS show or TNT shows.
Yeah, we don't have to say one.
I got Shaquille O'Neal at one. I mean,
especially when you call the Sacramento Kings the Sacramento Queens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
the thing is when he's on the line, you're trash talking him because he can't make it. So then he goes down and blocks the shot or dunks on you again. So, all right, you're number one. I believe I know who you have.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And I thought about this was the first name I thought of in the NBA between Barkley and Garnett, and I've seen some stuff, and he's trash talks. This is the guy who trash talked his own team in practice. This guy's the same guy who trash talked his team in the USA practices.
Nope.
The only guy I don't think he's ever freaking to ever a trash talk was Drazen Petrovic from Croatia, I think, or Serbia. And that's the greatest Washington Wizard of all time, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I was putting him there, and I'm just like, there's better trash talkers. But I kind of forgot about the Olympic stuff because that's now coming out in their documentaries of that team that, he practiced, and then would call people names because they didn't want to practice as hard as he did. And, that is a good one. I thought about it.
You saw the Redeem team. The Redeem team was it the Redeem team. The Redeem team was it the Redeem team one with LeBron and Kobe and they brought.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, watch that one too. That one, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So we're 6 for 10. So we're hitting up there. So
6 for 10. We're already better than Ted Williams. That's good.
This is going to be NFL. I think is going to be the tough one here, because I may have a couple sliders in there. So, I'm going to go 2. I think we're going to hit 2 on this one.
I think we hit 3. I've gotten good. I've nailed 3 the last time.
You have, but there is so many old school NFL.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, we could have put up Wilt Chamberlain.
We could have probably done for one for each position.
We could have did one for
positions.
Yeah, we could have did a top 5 in each position. We could have did the top 5 in each decade. We could have went nuts.
All right, you kick it off.
All right. Kind of in the background and in backstage, I kind of hinted at this guy. So when I think of trash talkers, I think of, for some reason, the Baltimore Ravens come to my head, and I always think of Terrell Suggs and a little bit of Ed Reed and a little bit of Tony Siragusa, but there was only one real major mouthpiece in the defense for the Baltimore Ravens, and that's the Slayer himself, Ray Lewis.
Yep. All right, my number 5. I think he'd be a big trash talker today's game, and definitely now that they kind of have the highlights where they mic people up for videos and stuff, he would get mic'd up every game. I think. I hated watching him play against my team. I hated watching him when John Madden was doing the commentary on there because he just had a love fest with this guy. But the guy could trash talk, and that's number 4, Brett Favre.
Yeah, Brett Favre. Yeah, Brett. He had an unhealthy. Him and
Michael Strahan and him and John Randall. I mean, they went back and forth all the time.
Yeah, him and Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp.
Randall, Warren Sapp. Holy smokes.
Yep. All right. You're number 4.
All right. This guy has gone by multiple names with the Cincinnati Bengals. I want to say the New England Patriots.
Yep.
I think another guy who, because they mic everybody up under the sun, I think would be huge, and he's a playmaker. No, he's not Chris Carter, even though he was the originator of the playmaker. No, the playmaker was Michael Irvin. What am I thinking?
Yeah. Chris Carter was the guy that
only caught touchdowns.
Oh yeah, or caught sideline
slants.
Catches.
Yeah. But this guy would fit right in, and especially when you change your name mid-career and then change it back mid-career. How this guy isn't in the Hall of Fame? I'm still waiting for Reggie Wayne. Anything after Reggie Wayne is good by me. But my number 4 is whatever you want to call him, either Chad Ochocinco or Chad Johnson.
All right. So what are you calling him?
Chad Johnson. Anything to make him angry so he could trash talk my ass.
Yeah. All right. My number 4, speaking of Brett Favre, I just named off this guy because, as a matter of fact, I think there's an asterisk that should be next to the sack that set the record.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Michael Strahan.
I don't know. No, he tripped. I'm not even close to a Packer fan. Of all the Packers that I've met, he's not one of them. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Brett Favre tripped over the blade of grass that was on there. Yes.
I still remember the day that happened. My dad's like, what the hell is he doing? I'm like,
I would have loved to have been there. Would have loved to have been sitting next to your dad on that one, or my Uncle John when that sack happened.
Oh my God! Put both of them together, and it would have been a day in hell.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I was in the house the day that the Green Bay Packers decided to give the game away to the Seattle Seahawks. The game before the Deflategate, where they were up by 2 scores, and your Uncle John had been blowing a gasket at the same time too.
Oh yeah, he would have been. Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. You're number 3.
My number 3. The guy, the first memory I have of my number 3, and the thing to put him on an all-time trash talking list is kind of funny, considering the first time I ever remember this guy was in an NFC divisional game against your guy there, Brett Favre, where Steve Young throws that pass to the 5-yard line, and basically he gets pinballed in the back of the end and into the end zone. And the next thing you see is him crying. And the next time you see him crying, he's talking about his quarterback. Yeah. And this guy trash talked. This guy trash talked everybody. This guy trash talked owners. This guy trash talked his own team. He trash talked his own team, his opposite team, anybody he could listen to. And then he takes a Sharpie out. I was at a game in Indianapolis and Cleveland for an Indy-Cleveland game, and the next thing I see on TV is this guy taking a Sharpie out of his sock so he can sign a football. And then he's telling the fans that they need to get their popcorn ready. And this guy, if we did a top 5 hated list, and I don't know if we have, this guy would be like number 1. My number 3 is 81, and holy crap, Terrell Owens.
The thing is when you start talking, I'm like, who are you talking about? Then you said the Sharpie. I'm like, wait, you already covered the guy. Chad Cinco did that. And then you talked about the quarterback.
He did it in New Orleans.
Like, yeah.
He did it in New Orleans.
And I was like, oh, it wasn't Chad Cinco. It was Terrell Owens. That's right. Yeah. Tony Romo was the quarterback that he was crying about that everybody was picking on. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, way better than Troy Aikman. So.
And Dak Prescott.
Yeah. All right, my number 3. I'm going to go home again here for the second time at number 3. He gave his receiving crew the I guess the phrase that pays. They called them Afros, the America's finest. What was it? America's finest receivers on Sunday or something like that. And the thing is he could back it up, and Minnesota should have been in the Super Bowl of the year. I don't know what Denny Green was thinking, because you had the best receiver that could pretty much catch everybody, jump out of the Metrodome.
Well, that was the 3 receivers. Your 3 receivers put a lot of 3 receivers to shame that year, because I think it was Moss, Carter, and Jake Reed.
Yep. And then Robert Smith out of the backfield, and then they had was it Steve Jordan at the time?
Yeah, it was Steve Jordan at the time.
And then Randall Cunningham throwing the ball. So or Culpepper was, I think.
Culpepper.
Yeah. But Randy Moss, number 84.
Straight cash, homie.
Yeah, straight cash, homie. Yep. All right, you're number 2.
My number 2. Well, Brandon, it eventually had to come to this.
Uh-oh.
The guy trash talked at Florida State on the baseball diamond. The guy trash talked Florida State on the football field. The guy trash talked so much for the New York Yankees that he ended up going to the Atlanta Braves. Got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. Got hated so much by Andre Rison. They traded Andre Rison. They let Andre Rison go. And then he goes, oh my God! If nobody knows, turns around, retires after what? The season with the Ravens? No, the season midway through the season with the Redskins, and then gets re-signed by the Ravens 2 years later, comes out of retirement. Now trash talks anybody he feels like he needs to in college football. Holy smokes. It had to come to this. Number 2 on the field, number 21 on the field, number 24. I could sit number 12 for the Reds. We could sit here all day. I think he wore number 38 in Baltimore, 24 for Washington. My number 2, seems logical that I have him at number 2 because he wore 2 everywhere he seemed to play. Deion Sanders.
My number 2, your number 2 was pretty much one of the first few guys I thought about. I did think I'd put him on baseball because I don't think he could have trash talked that much, but football definitely. You line up against him, you knew he was going to trash talk you. And I tell you right now, if he was doing him and Hester with the new kickoff rule, if they were doing kickoffs now, I don't think you're touching neither one of them. But
Deion, Hester, Dante Hall.
Yeah, Deion. So, I mean, he even trash talk on a CD, I think. So,
yeah.
So
I remember that CD.
I still have it.
Jeez.
Yep, I still have it.
Oh.
All right, you're number 1.
My number 1. I don't know if we have the same number 1 at this point.
No, we don't.
Because I logically thought that when this was the first guy I thought of when it came to trash talking in football. And I know I have Ray Lewis at number 5, which makes it even stranger. And I got Terrell Owens at 3 and Chad Johnson. This guy breaks a guy's leg on Monday Night Football, and the only thing he does, that's the only time I think in NFL history that he hasn't trash talked anybody, and he broke Joe Theismann on Monday Night Football. And other than that, I think he took a play off from trash talking and basically hadn't shut up after that. And the funny thing is to see him basically he's in a movie where with Adam Sandler and basically is trash talking on Adam Sandler on that game. He goes to Any Given Sunday, and I swear to God, they didn't give him a script. They just let him go to town. My favorite line that he has ever said was in Waterboy, when he says lesson number 2, don't do drugs, which is hilarious considering who the guy is. And is back in trouble again. Woo-hoo! Now he's trash talking the police, which is awesome. My number 1 is the original LT, Lawrence Taylor.
I actually forgot all about that one. Yeah. But this is why I know we didn't have the same number 1, because my number 1 is your number 5. Ray Lewis was the first guy I thought of throughout this whole thing. Yeah. So.
Football is so easy. Football and basketball to me was so easy.
Yeah, it was. We could have went down, so many roads, for football.
Offensive linemen talking smack to defensive linemen.
And I think it's the same. I mean, I haven't heard. I think this is going to be more of kind of guessing for new school.
Yeah.
So, and so all right. So let's get to the MLB new school current players.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a safe 1. Basketball, football, I think we'll get more, but I think baseball will be 1.
I think 2.
Okay.
I think you lead us out, don't you?
Yes, I do. So my number 5 is a relief pitcher, and I've seen so many memes of him walking out the mound pouting because I think he was trying to trash talk, but he was making faces at the other team. And that's one, Joe Kelly.
Joe Kelly, you went homer pick, didn't you?
No, that's the Dodger.
Joe Kelly, wasn't Joe Kelly it?
No,
you're right. I'm thinking of your old manager.
Yeah, Kelly, yeah.
I don't know why. My number 5. I thought when you said pitcher, I thought, oh boy, we got the same guy, and then I realized there's a million pitchers in the Major League Baseball. But I don't remember too much of this guy in Toronto. But the moment he went to Chicago, he thought he was God's gift to pitching and forgot that he was in the same league with Verlander and Kershaw and everybody else. But to sit there and he's not even the best pitcher in his own staff. That's how terrible this is. I don't know. Last I heard, he wasn't healthy, but that doesn't mean anything because I'm not really giving that much attention to baseball. But I'm going with I believe he's still the current pitcher in Chicago, Marcus Stroman.
Yeah, he's somewhere. He might be on the injury list, yeah. That's a guy I wish the Twins would have signed.
I wish the Milwaukee would have signed him when he came out of Toronto.
Yeah. My number 4, and this guy kind of, okay, yeah, he could be an old school, but he's still playing. I've seen him kind of trash talk some fans too, joking around and stuff. Especially, there's a video going around of him trash talking a little kid because he missed a play and the kid snagged a foul ball. Was kind of calling him out on it.
MJF. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and that's the first baseman for the Detroit Tigers /DH now, Melky Cabrera.
Is he still playing?
Yeah, this is his last year.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm almost positive he's still playing.
That's good. I thought he retired last year, but that's just me.
Now you got me thinking because I thought he did, but I thought they.
I don't. I have
no. You know what? I think you're right. Now that I think about it,
because I thought Miggy retired last year, but like I said, I don't know. I'm not. I need to keep better tabs.
All right, go ahead.
All right, now I know a guy. This guy was a trash talker. The guy was trash talking. He was I want to say he was the number 1 pick for the.
Yeah, he retired last year. God dang it.
That's all right. I'll let you have it.
All right.
But I believe he was the number 1 pick for the Washington Nationals. I believe out of Las Vegas, And this kid trash talked himself basically. This kid, he trash talked himself into a fight with Jonathan Papelbon with the Phillies at the same when they were on the same team at the same time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it's crazy that, but the thing is, I have found respect for him because I think he did the Kobe Bryant where he's done almost everything, and he's kept it down. My number 4 is the kid out of Las Vegas himself, the former National and the current Philadelphia Philly, one Bryce Harper.
Yeah, my number 3. Let's see. How can I mean, I don't. Younger days, I think we could probably say that he probably was a good trash talker. Could be today, but I think now he's might be just more focused on winning and getting healthy and staying healthy. But my number 3 is San Diego Padres, Tatis Jr.
Oh, you son of a biscuit! Thought of him. I did. That's all I did was thought.
All right, you're number 3.
All right, I'm going to defer to a list I saw. Done by Major League Baseball players on who the greatest current trash talker is, and I would have never guessed this. From my understanding, he is a St. Louis Cardinals pitcher. I didn't realize pitchers talk a lot. They just do. But I'm surprised more catchers aren't trash talkers. But my number 3 is, I want to say, and I know Greg, if Greg's watching, he's going to tell me, no, he don't play for St. Louis anymore. But I'm understanding that he does, and that's Lance Lynn.
I think Lance Lynn plays for the Cardinals still.
Okay, because I got it from a poll that of Major League Baseball players, and he was number 1 on their list.
Okay, all right. So my number 2, this guy, one, for his size, should only be playing a couple positions, but it seems like he can run around the outfield, and he's built like a linebacker. He could probably play like a center in basketball. I could just see him trash talking. And when I saw this guy play against the Twins, when he was standing out there, he looked like he was standing against a lot of little leaguers because how tall he is and built he is. I'd like to hear this guy mic'd up during games or pre-games, and that's one, Aaron Judge.
As soon as you said tall guy, I went, yeah, there's only one tall guy that I remember now in Major League Baseball.
All right, you're number 2.
My number 2. This is to be honest, this is the weird one. This is the first guy I thought of, and believe me, I if I'm not mistaken, he's not with the Padres anymore.
Okay,
it's not Juan Soto. I think Callen would be really, because I think Callen thought of this guy as being a cancer in the dugout in the clubhouse.
Okay.
Thing is, he was a trash talker in Baltimore. I know he was a trash talker in San Diego. I think he's in LA now. I think he might be a Dodger. I might be wrong. Again, another guy I would have liked to have had in Milwaukee playing third base. My number 2 is Manny Machado.
No, Machado's still there.
He's still in San Diego?
Yep.
Great. So Callen's going to love my first 2 picks.
Well, my number 1, we haven't done it yet, so we'll do it right now. The phrase that pays, and again, I think you're right. This kid, when he got drafted, had just the ego, trash talked everything. I mean, a lot of people were upset that he trash talked when he won the home run derby, like he won the World Series. But yeah, Bryce Harper, number 1.
I'll make you feel a lot better, because then we'll throw up the phrase that pays again. Because when you brought up Fernando Tatis and he says, "Oh, he deserves," I had him number 1. I stared. He goes off, gets a PED, gets suspended for PED, and instead of being remorseful, what's he do? He doubles down.
Yeah.
Like, are you really that? You're really that crazy?
All right. So let's get into NFL or NBA today. The current NBA trash talkers.
Current NBA trash talkers. Holy smokes!
There you go. Yeah, there could be a lot too. So I'm gonna go with 2. You know what? I'm gonna go 3. I'll go 3. I think we're gonna.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are any of them former teammates?
Possibly.
Possibly. Yeah.
Possibly. 3 of them could be on the Olympic team right now.
I have one on a different Canadian on a different Olympic team.
All right, so you kick it off.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start off with that guy on a different Olympic team. This guy comes out, a member of the Canadian Olympic team, and says he thinks they can wholeheartedly beat the United States in the Olympics. This guy's also said, "Oh my God, this guy was when he said half the stuff he said. Sometimes I want to start thinking that these people need to be drug tested."
My number 5 does.
My number 5 is the Canadian basketball player, Dylan Brooks.
Who?
Exactly.
All right. Well, my number 5 come out and said that he is the USA's basketball number 1 option in scoring for the Olympics.
God. It's my number 3, isn't it? It's my number 3.
And I've seen the guy play, watched him, and
it's my number 3.
And that's one Anthony Edwards.
No, not my number 3.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards.
He thinks he's the number 1. Does he understand that there's? I like Ant. I
love Ant too, and
Ant's a great guy.
Great to have confidence and stuff, but yeah, you're the number 1 option in Minnesota. You're the number 1 option for the Chicago White Sox. I know that's a baseball team, but they would take you as the number 1 option. But
exactly,
yes, Anthony Edwards.
Holy smokes! Okay, all right. Okay, wow. Okay, I like Ant. I really do. I would love to have Ant sitting in my team right now. But
yep.
Well, that's and my number 4 is the guy who's on my team. Which is even crazier. And then another one, I had to defer to a poll of NBA players who talked about trash talkers, and this guy was number 1 on the list too. And I'm thinking, wait, he's in Milwaukee now. Oh no. Like we're trying to be wholesome. We've got Robin Lopez, and we've got Dame Lillard, and we've got Giannis Antetokounmpo and Pat Connaughton. And then all of a sudden, I see Patrick Beverley's name. I'm like, no, not Patrick Beverley.
He was good.
He needs to shut his mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, my number 4 is Patrick Beverley.
Well, my number 4, he might have played in Ant's rookie year here. But everywhere he goes, they say winning cures all, and of course, when you're winning, you don't say much, but when you're losing, you're out there. But a lot of people said that he talks a good game, and that's one Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. Golly. That guy can't. I respect the game. He has knocked Milwaukee out of so many stinking postseasons. It's not even funny. He's our kryptonite. I'm waiting for him to retire. I really am.
You're number 3.
My number 3. A guy on the United States Olympic team who has come out and said Steve Kerr doesn't know what he's doing by not putting in Steph Curry in the first game of the Olympics. I'm like, dude, that's your first of all, just because he's your head coach at Golden State doesn't mean you need to keep going. The guy trash talked so much that he got suspended.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, he got suspended, and then he kind of got a little weird. The kid from Michigan State himself won Draymond Green.
Yeah. Well, my number 3's bounced around. I think this year he'll be on another team.
Denver Nuggets?
Did he go to the Nuggets or did he go to Dallas?
I know he got cut by one. I know there's one. If it's the same guy we're talking about, he got cut by one team and then got signed by the Nuggets later on.
Oh, I think you're right. I think that is, yeah. Russell Westbrook.
Sad thing is, I had a Russell Westbrook autographed rookie card, and I sold it for dirt cheap.
Yeah. All right, you're number 2.
My number 2 is the phrase that pays. The only reason why I knew who we were going towards, going to pay for his 47,000th team this season. My number 2 is Russell Westbrook.
All right.
Just like your number 2.
My number 2.
That was your number 2, wasn't it?
No, you started.
Oh, that's right, I did, didn't I? So my number 2
right.
is your number 2.
Yep. My number 2. I think he talks trash more in all-star games and practices and stuff. There's always videos of him. Typically, when he's on his game, he'll shoot the ball and just turn and start walking the other way. But yeah, number 2 is Steph Curry.
Don't even have him on the list.
All right, you're number 1.
I happen to say his name about Draymond Green. My number 1. This guy believes. This guy is like, oh my gosh, this guy I can't stand. This guy makes Patrick Beverly and Dylan Brooks look like saints, to me. And my number 1 is James Harden. I can't. He's it's so much hate for that guy.
Wow.
I have so much hate, and just listening to him talk, and just the way he.
So, my number 1, he's not the GOAT, but I think I think he just kind of keeps the trash talking to minimum. I think he's kind of more open up about trash talking because he can't play as much now, so he kind of gets it. I don't think he trash talked so much when he was a kid coming in, but he probably did. But that's and now he just needs to shut up and play the game. And that's LeBron James.
I was going to say Ben Simmons. No.
Yeah.
I think it's. I think your comments going to be. I'm thinking. I never. That's the funny thing is I've never heard about Leigh Flop there being a trash talker.
Yeah, you could just tell though. I mean,
he's got that arrogance about him where he can do that. So it's the same. The funny thing, it's the same arrogance that Iverson had. It's the same arrogance that Garnett had.
Iverson, I would almost bet Iverson talked though.
Iverson talked. Iverson. I remember Michael Jordan saying Iverson just didn't shut up.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Thomas could have been on this list too, because Isaiah Thomas, either one of them, the one that played for Boston or the one that played for Detroit, because neither one of those guys shut up either.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's move into the NFL here. God. I'm going to go 1. I'm going 1 to be safe. I can see this one being a 0. I'll tell you what, I did double up on 1.
Did you? Because I haven't double up on any.
I know none of us did, but I doubled up on this one.
Really?
Yep.
Do they have to have the same name?
Yep.
All right. So I've got 1/2 of yours at this point.
How many thinking?
1. No, I think 2. I think 2, and I kind of stole like what would be considered a semi-homer pick from you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go with number 5.
Double?
Nope. My number 5 is a quarterback who
we're good so far.
Should be a Minnesota Viking if they would have listened to me when they were drafting when he came out. But I could see him just being mic'd up and doing the old Willie Beeman as he's trying to run and can't catch me or stuff like that. And that's Lamar Jackson.
I love Lamar Jackson.
Oh, I do too.
I love Lamar Jackson. I was the first time I ever saw Lamar Jackson. And the funny thing is, here's the funny thing is, if we didn't have Tim Tebow at Florida, Lamar Jackson was coming to play for Florida because he's a Florida guy. And what's he do? He turns around at Louisville in our bowl game and spanks Florida.
Yeah.
So I understood Lamar Jackson before I think most people did.
Yeah. All right, you're number 5.
So my number 5 is also a quarterback. Kind of hinted that one I think, or a little bit. But all I've ever heard is this guy. This is another guy who can't shut up. It's another one. He makes people feel real small. Considering my number 1 and my number 5. My number 1 has said that my number 5 is the best trash talking quarterback in the NFL. My number 5 is the quarterback from the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen.
Yeah, he's one that just needs to shut up and play ball because he ain't gonna do nothing. So my number 4 is my double up. 1 receiver, 1 defensive back. I would almost guarantee when these guys play against each other, they're trash talking at the dinner table, at whatever. I don't believe they're twins. I could be wrong.
They're not.
I didn't think so.
They're a year. I think they're 2 years apart. 3 years apart.
Right. But one of them has come out and said that he wants to play with his brother, and everybody keeps talking that, oh, they're going to make that happen, because the NFL is Dallas Cowboys. They'll make whatever happen to get happy, and that's the Diggs brothers.
Well, it's the phrase that pays. My number 4 is half your number 4, and it's the half the semi homer pick for you because I have Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he's a diva. I'm not a Dallas fan. I wouldn't even touch him. But I'll tell you what, though, Houston's gonna.
I don't want to see him twice a year.
That offense is just gonna be phenomenal.
I don't want to see him twice a year.
Yeah. My number 3, I would say if he doesn't trash talk, he should, but I think he's one that lets his game do his trash talking for him, because this guy can make throws out of nothing. They like to play merry-go-round in the huddle. I'm kind of getting bored with him, but again, I was still thinking on my team because he's got
so bored
instincts. I mean, just think if he had weapons like, and I guess Miami would be out of the question because he did have Hill. But I mean, if he had a team like, San Francisco, what he could do, talent like that and stuff like that.
San Francisco 17-0 at that point.
Yeah, and that's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I'm over that sideshow.
Yeah.
I saw the quarterback. Mini series there on Netflix, and that just made me even hate the guy even more. Yeah.
All right, you're number 3.
My number 3, a wide receiver that I used to see twice a year in Tennessee. Another guy who couldn't shut his mouth, and I think he learned a lot from Andre. I think Andre was already gone by that time. Andre had just gotten to Tennessee when he got there, because it was after he left Indy, he went to Tennessee. And I don't know if he was there when Randy was there, when Randy Moss was there.
Okay.
But this was the if everybody remembers who watched Bacon and my draft show a couple years back, where Tennessee traded him to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh.
And I'm like, thank God, I don't need to see him. And then you find out that the guy, I can't remember who they replace him with, is like, oh, it's just basically a younger version of this guy. And I'm like, oh,
wasn't the same name?
No, it's not the same name. It's I think it was I can't remember. Is it Edwards or Traylon Edwards or something?
Okay.
He hasn't made the same impact that my number 3 did, but he made that same impact when he went to the Philadelphia Eagles. My number 3 is A.J. Brown.
Yeah, because didn't Tennessee trade him, and then they also drafted an A.J. Brown?
They drafted an A.J. Brown like.
Oh, I thought it was the same.
No, they didn't draft an A.J. Brown. They drafted
Okay, gotcha.
a guy who was just like A.J. Brown. Yeah. The fact is, they were going to have to pay A.J. a whole ton of money, so they just got an A.J. Brown guy.
Yeah. My number 2, currently, I think everybody will agree he's top 3 in receiving. And I don't know. I wouldn't want to line up against him and have him trash talk me and tell me what he's going to do and then do it on me because I can't stop him. And that's one Justin Jefferson.
Well, I got a guy. My number 2 would be a guy I'd put up against him, but I still think I think Jets would kill this guy at this point. Another guy I saw twice a year until he ended up going to the Rams. Ooh. And then went to the. I think is he in Miami still?
Who's that?
My guy, my number 2, cornerback. One of those guys that I think he came out drafted. I think he wanted Deion Sanders money the moment he got drafted. But my number 2 is Jalen Ramsey.
I believe he's in Miami. I could be wrong. My number 1, actually, I believe was, if I remember, I was teammates with Jefferson in college. If I remember right, or was it a year after?
LSU?
Yeah.
Joe Burrows or Jamar Chase?
Jamar Chase.
Like how I had to go. I think it was a year or 2.
It might be a year, but I know, yeah. But yeah, Jamar Chase.
He didn't have, and the funny thing is, think if Justin Jefferson had Burrow throwing to him, because Burrow came in
this year that it was going to happen, and it's just like.
But Burrow did it a year. Burrow came the year after Jefferson left.
Yeah, no, I think you might be right. So
yeah, he was with Jamar. I think Jamar was
teammates because they're making a big deal about that.
Yeah, Jamar Chase was a freshman. I think the year that Jefferson was there.
Yeah. Okay.
My number 1. I kind of agree with this, and I got backed up by a NFL poll.
Okay.
By NFL players. I found these, so I have a little bit of expertise with these guys.
All right.
The former corner of the Philadelphia Eagles who went to the Detroit Lions, a guy who, again, and everybody who ever lined up against him, and Jefferson was one of those guys. Stefon Diggs was another guy, a guy that just doesn't shut up. He's always in your ear. He doesn't care if he's the littlest guy on the field or anything else, but he plays with that Napoleon complex and that he's the best cornerback in the league, even though we know right now he's not. And that's C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotcha. All right, so I got a list here. We're going to go with the top 10 NFL games to watch this year based on NFL.com. So, number 10, Week 8.
Minnesota Indy.
Yeah. In Cincinnati, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Bengals.
I don't know.
As long as Burrow's healthy, I think that could be a good game.
Yeah.
That could be a good one. Number 9. This one, I think, I will say right now, this is my Super Bowl prediction game right
Detroit,
here.
Kansas City.
No. Week 9 in Houston.
Ooh.
Detroit Lions versus the Houston Texans.
I could see San Francisco, Houston.
I can see San Francisco and Houston too, but if I'm putting money on the Lions in Houston.
You make a killing on that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. My number 8. This one, yeah.
Are we getting I need to know, is Indy getting a rematch against that 33-0 comeback shot?
I don't know. We'll see. But my number 8 will happen here in Minnesota, Week 14, December 8th. Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins comes to town against Minnesota.
Ooh, in what week?
Week 14.
Ooh, playoff picture's starting to clear up at that spot.
Playoff picture, you got Kirk Cousins possibly healthy against possibly starting quarterback J.J. McCarthy at the time.
McCarthy.
So that'll be pretty interesting. You could have, Penix Jr., versus J.J. McCarthy, stuff like that. So, they're hyping that game up when the schedule is released here in Minnesota. So
really? Oh, yeah. You kind of circle that one. Yeah, I can understand that.
My number the number 7 game to watch based on NFL.com. Week 12 in Washington, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Commanders. Why? Outside of that being a division game, I don't think that's.
I don't understand that.
Okay, maybe Josh Daniels up against Dallas.
Jalen Daniels.
Yeah. So maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
Number 6. This team shows up for the second time on this list in the bottom half. This will happen week 5 in Houston again. The Buffalo Bills versus the Houston Texans.
Could be an AFC Championship game.
Well, and then you also got the Diggs going to go up against his old team.
Diggs versus Diggs, yeah.
So that'll be kind of interesting to see. Number 5 happening in California, week 12. You got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Los Angeles.
The Harbaugh Bowl.
Harbaugh Bowl, yep, that's always a big one. Derrick Henry on Baltimore now. Harbaugh rebuilding that team.
Yeah, I think the last time the Harbaughs faced each other was in the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
Yep. Week 16, this game will happen. Possibly a long shot for the Super Bowl matchups, but I think a lot of people would like to see this. Ranked 4 in Miami. San Francisco 49ers versus the Miami Dolphins.
That's a good game. That's going to be a huge game. I think that's game of the year.
Okay. Week 3. Ranked 3, week 11, Sunday, November 17th. You got a pair of young quarterbacks in here. Fighting to see who's going to be the ownership of the Bears because Rodgers is gone now. You got Love versus Williams, Packers versus the Bears.
I don't think, and I'm going to say now, what week is that?
11.
Caleb's not going to be there. Caleb's going to be hurt. I'm not pulling my Purdy card out, but I'm saying Willow's week won't be starting.
Game 2 to watch per NFL.com will happen week 7 in California.
Oh, no.
And I believe this is the second time this team has shown up on the list. Rematch of the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs versus the 49ers.
That's going to be a good game, too.
Yeah.
I still think the good game is Miami versus San Francisco, though.
Yeah. And game 1 to watch, and I don't know why.
Indy, Minnesota.
Yeah. Week 11 in Pittsburgh. You got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You're freaking cracked.
The only thing we're going to be watching for on that game is if it gets close to time, they're deciding on who's going to be starting.
That's all.
Nobody's going to be watching that game.
Baltimore's going to end up being.
The refs aren't even going to be watching that game. So
Baltimore could be 14-3 this season.
Yeah. Yep. So with that being said, Tim, final thoughts?
Yeah, are the opinions of the co-hosts aren't those true? No, wait. No, I've been fun. This one was a little tough because I don't. Some of these people. I don't get some of this stuff I don't get to watch because, being 6 hours ahead of everybody, but everybody's like, oh, but you're 6 hours ahead and you get the future. No, that's not how it works. If I were in the United States, I'd know a lot of this more because I used to babysit ESPN like it was going out of style. But no, I like this. It's a nice little change of pace on some of these.
Yeah, no, it's always good to throw stuff out there. Again, if you're watching this on replay or watch currently, we plan on being back tomorrow to make up for last week. Birthdays are the topic. So, with that being said, keep checking us out all week long. Tonight, I think the plan is C2C Late Night with Callan. Tomorrow, Sports Minute. Kicking It. We got a new segment on Kicking It due to some realignment.
Unforeseen circumstances.
Yes. Which kind of sucks.
What days Kicking It on?
It should be Thursday. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I may not be on because we're son's birthday this week, so I'm taking off. We're going to the fair, and then his birthday party on Friday. So just keep checking us out. On deck is in the works to return with Tim and Chris and James and maybe me. I don't know, depending on what time we can think of. So, but with that being said, we'll see you all next week, or actually, we'll see you tomorrow.
C2C
Rankem. Have a good one.